I want to change. I want to develop, right? Let's say I have identified my issues. I know what needs to change. I actively want to change those things. But I'll put it this way, there's this constant fight between the objective truth and the subjective desire, right? If something happens, you want a certain outcome, but you might know what the right decision is, despite, and that is in conflict with what you want. There is a subjective desire or an ideal desire, and there is the objective fact. As far as I can be objective, this is what I perceive as the fact, right? I know I should be doing the objective thing because it's going to be better for me. I'll be better off emotionally and psychologically. But the ideal situation is that I can power through these bad factors or influences or whatever and find a better solution. Because the ideal side of me is going, yeah, this is objective, but you can't possibly perceive the entire objective truth. So there must be a better solution. There's always a better solution. It's just a matter of perceiving it and then being able to act on that. And despite me choosing the objective thing...
When you say it's a matter of perceiving it, how does that come about? How do you think you will be able to perceive it?
The objective side of things?
Yeah.
Okay, well, for me, that came through just a lot of contemplation.
But I think also your observation of your objective truth is still a subjective observation.
Exactly. But that's my point.
Yeah.
That's why the ideal side is saying, okay, but maybe this isn't the best solution. There's probably is a better one because you don't know everything.
I think this is probably the best we can do, is that we do the best we can do with what we know at the time.
Yes.
I mean, retrospective is so clear. You can really beat yourself up over your retrospectoscope, but there's no point. Because you needed to go through that thing and make those mistakes and have those experiences to have that frame of reference, to grow, to evolve, to change, to do all the things that you can look back and then do better in the future.
So to simplify, you are saying...
To adapt.
Take what you currently perceive as the objective truth, because that is the best outcome from what you can understand.
At that point.
At that point, right.
And that will constantly be changing and evolving and everything.
Yes.
Because I think most of us are trying to do the best we can at that point for wherever we are emotionally, biologically, physically, in terms of age, in terms of experience, in terms of the neuroplasticity of our lives that have been wired into our brains and the biological and hereditary stuff.
I think that's all we can do.
It's all we can do.
We never got a manual on how to be a human being.
It's that whole thing of like, do what you can, where you can, like for where you are at that moment. Like, because that's all you can do.
Right.
But do it with integrity and with impeccability.
Well, if you're there. I mean, not everyone acts out of that. Right. That's obviously the space. I mean, some people's best at that current point is aggression, or they're acting out of heartbreak and hurt. They're acting out of rejection, so they become aggressive.
But that is within their integrity and within their version of impeccability.
Well, then we're now debating the meaning of integrity as well, So I think it's about doing the best that you can at that point. So, I mean, as Blume, we're probably going to use the resources we have at that point in time to do the best that we can, to be as wide and as true and as honest as what we know how at that time, to do the best and influence the most that we possibly can. And it's about what you can. I keep saying can. Like, what can you do at that point? It's not what you idealize that you should do. It's not the grandiose what you think you have to do to actually be relevant. It's what can we do with where we are right now.
Okay. Yes. Understood. And I am going to say I'm in agreement, because those are the decisions I have been making, throughout my whole contemplative process. But to backpedal before I continue, how do you guys feel about that idea of like pursuing unconscious motivation? You feel this, so this is like the gut feeling or whatever, this is probably the way to my ideal self.
I don't think that a gut feel and unconscious things are the same.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean.
Because the second that you're aware of it, it's not subconscious anymore.
Yeah.
The second you're aware of what you're about to do, then you're making a conscious decision, even if it's a wired pattern in your brain that was wired subconsciously.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with the minute changes from subconscious to conscious, it's no longer subconscious.
Okay.
I think then it's both.
Or it's a thread.
But that's what I'm
It's a
saying.
thread.
You still need to break that habit down.
Okay.
But now you've become conscious of it, which is the first step. Whereas something, when it really is subconscious and you're completely ignorant of it and unaware of it, and then it controls you and you act through it like that, that's the problem. That's the problem, because then you don't
So
even...
it's bridging the gap between the conscious and the subconscious.
I think so, absolutely.
And actually living in both worlds and not
until you
letting
can,
the one
yes,
control.
until you can rewire the one. Because I mean, even if you become aware of a pattern or a habit or something, you're aware of it. Great, that's half the work. But now the other half is changing
managing it, and
changing
yeah.
it, rewiring your brain, the neuroplasticity of your mind, all the things, to make it different. But that has to be a choice.
Yeah.
You have to choose over and over again until it becomes a new habit or a new thought pattern.
Habits. Yeah. So I have taken this, what we have now settled is the best route. I have taken the perceptibly objective option, and I pursue that. Despite that, there are still subconscious signals, you know.
Like what?
Things happen, and this might get a little whatever, but
We're already there.
yeah.
We are already
We're on the deep end.
there.
Already.
So I pursue this objective choice, and I pursue it hard, okay? Because I'm sure this is my best solution to rehabilitation or whatever. Despite this, I constantly have, you know, resurfacing subconscious desires, which I don't have a control over, you know, feelings of, maybe I should have made that other choice. And then things surface, you know, like you start spotting things in life, or you just suddenly start seeing talks or whatever that are so about this and how you totally should have taken that other option, even though, you know, it's like subconsciously triggered. Like I didn't actively seek that out. I'm actively trying to avoid those things, but they still keep coming back like a little haunting gnat on my neck veins. I don't think that's where gnats go, but you know what I mean. I don't even know what a gnat is, actually. But,
It's like a muggy.
okay. Like a... What are they called? Fleas? No.
Say a leech.
Ticks. Ticks.
Okay.
Like a tick on my neck. Neck tick.
Tick neck.
They just stay there, you know? Like you ignore them. You can drown them in alcohol, but they stay there. They latch on, you know? They still have that stuff from you that
It's
they
a body,
took.
man.
So it feels like it doesn't matter how much I try to change, there's constantly something else. You know, obviously not with every decision, but like, let's say with this one in particular, subconscious resurfacings of you probably should be making a different decision. But I know I shouldn't be.
Can you give us an example?
To be frank,
'Cause
though,
I'd
Alden,
like to get into an actual example, because it's one thing, because, you know, we're talking about
Okay.
it like it's an airy-fairy type
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. We need to ground it in reality a bit.
Yeah.
I agree.
but to be frank, I think that's life. No, and in terms of like mental health and living healthily and deciding to be a person who is evolving, changing and growing and all the things, there is a fair amount of discipline. Because falling into bad habits, falling into depression as an identity and all that stuff, that's easy. That is easy to sit in. I mean, even though society today is conducive to like unhealthy living and lifestyles and like mentalities, that's easy. But to say, okay, I want to change, I want to be better, it's a constant process. And you have to be forgiving with yourself as well. You will you can't like, it's not like you can like replay and try a different option.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
I mean,
I've
who
made that
knows?
mistake.
No, but who knows? Oh, you replayed and then
I've tried replaying.
really?
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. There's no reset button, man.
Nope.
I think maybe we should look into tools of how to keep track of your growth and how to, so you know that you've made the bad decision and you should have made the other one. So how then
that's what you think.
Well,
That's what you think.
No, I think you're onto something.
I think if you know you made the bad decision and you believe it and you think it's so,
Yes.
how then do you go about in future making the better one? Whether you know it's the better one or not, whether
Okay.
you think it's the better one or not, how then do you keep track of that?
So you're saying you don't go back, but you use that to make a wiser decision.
go
Yes,
forward, but that's what I'm
you
saying.
learn
Yes,
from it
yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
grow
You
from
have
it.
to.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the only way. You can't change the past. You can change your relationship to the past, though, and you can change how you use your past as experience and as reference. You can do that at any point. You can't change what happened, but what you learn from it and how you associate to it, you can change. You can alter that
Right.
for the
You
future.
can change how you react to it and how you behave in